What movie does this picture remind you of? Oppenheimer, that's right. What about this one? Inception. And this one? That's right, Interstellar. When I first came across these films, I wasn't exactly sure about what were the common factors between them. But then I realized the answer was right in front of me all along. It's their director, Christopher Nolan. Well, duh, you'd say. I mean, as the director, he obviously has creative control over the films, right? But have you ever stopped and thought about what actually made the films his? Turns out, it is those common factors that we thought about, such as the recurring genre of the movies, the consistent style, and even elements of the director's personal story in them. On doing some research, I found out that there's actually a term to define this called auteurism, or auteur theory, which the word is used mainly in context of film directors who have a lot of control over the making of their films. So they can be considered the author of those films. But essentially, auteurs are people who have a signature style of creating. Their creations and their process is so unique and so personal to them that you can instantly identify it as theirs, just like you all did with Nolan's films. You know, as an aspiring director myself, I am still trying to find my own style. And I know I'll get there, but I've only started this journey 2 years ago when I first arrived in Thailand. Ah, the good old days. Back then, my parents and I were new to a lot of things, the most prominent one being the use of nicknames. And you know, everyone here has a nickname that people address them by, right? So when we were picking one out for me, my dad said, why don't you go with one? It fits perfectly with Ananya. Ananya, my name. It literally means unique, like no other. So that's how I got my nickname, but for someone named after the very word, I felt pretty basic my entire life. I confessed these feelings of being just average to a friend of mine, and I told her, I do so many things, but I'm not an expert at any one of them. You know, like a jack of all trades, master of none. She told me that she viewed it in a completely different light. She said, the fact that you do all these things, the fact that these things have happened in your life, aren't they what make you special? What make you Ananya? I go back to that conversation a lot, especially when I feel a little lost in a crowd where every single person has something to their name. And I'm sure you all can relate, because as young people on the cusp of adulthood, who are just venturing out into the world by ourselves for the first time, we are still discovering the kind of people we want to be. And I'm still trying to find my own calling, my own style, and I'm guessing so are you. And I know that the burning questions about our future are at the forefront of our minds, like, am I making the right choice for my college, for my career? Will my parents be happy if I choose this? Will I be successful in this field? When will I start making my own choices? When what we're truly asking is, will I be the author of my own life? Initially, it all seems huge, daunting even, this concept of being the author of your life, your destiny. But to make things simple, let's use the example of a magic tiles game. You have got across a floor of lava by jumping on the right tiles, your opportunities, to get to the treasure, your goal. Now, there are so many possibilities, pathways, and options. How do you know you're on the right track? And how do you navigate this paradox of choice? Well, first things first, we've got to ask ourselves, why are we doing this at all? I mean, if you don't have a goal, then we're not going to be intentional about what we choose to do, right? And at the cost of sounding cheesy, I'm still going to say this. When you do something that really calls to you, and there's that little voice inside you that awakens with excitement, saying, this is where you belong, that's where your goal lies. And everyone has one. And in my belief, that's the first step, or the first spark towards being an author. Once you've recognized this goal, the tiles light up themselves to you. Meaning, if you're clear with what the choices, if you're clear with what your goal is, the choices you have to make become obvious to you. To understand this, let's go back to the analogy of the tiles game. Say my goal is to be a super spy carrying out stealth missions, and I have two tiles in front of me. One which gives me the power of invisibility, and the other gives me super strength. But I can only choose one. I am obviously going to pick invisibility over super strength, right? Because my mission is to be stealthy. So I'm only picking the one that is right for my goal. Now, what if I told you that all of these analogies and explanations are just a reminder, a reinforcement of what you already know and have in you? Take a look at your own life and think of all the choices that brought you here to this moment. You've been an otter all along. It's been there in every single opportunity you've taken. And if and when it gets overwhelming, know that you're not alone. There are others in this journey to guide you and support you. To take a personal example, when I was in the 9th grade, I had to take an extra subject for school. And I made the obvious assumption that I would be taking art. But imagine my surprise when my dad told me technical drawing, TD as we call it, would be a good option for you. Now, I freaked out a little bit because I was like, this looks like a whole lot of maths and geometry and engineering. I don't know, so I wasn't doing that. But guess what? I did. And for 2 whole years, I continued doing it and absolutely loved it. My point is, sometimes the choices that are made in your life, even if they're not made by you and shaped by influences like your family, are intentional and play a role in shaping the person you are today, possibly even shaping the person you may become in the future. What technical drawing gave me was the ability to look at the world a little closer, a skill that I'm now very thankful for as a student aspiring to be in the creative industry. And it's not just that, but all the theater shows that I've been a part of, the dance classes I took when I was 14, the debates my teachers encouraged me to take up, the music classes I refused to take, intentional choices, some made by me, some made by those close to me, but all of them have guided me towards a particular creative path that I want to be on in life. I'm standing here in front of you at this very moment because of all of these choices that brought me here. And so are you. I've certainly not made these choices alone, and I don't think any of us have. So I'm grateful to all those in my life who have played a part in shaping it. Now, I ask you, who are you grateful for? To all the people in our life who've helped us and positioned us to become the authors of our own stories, parents, teachers, mentors, friends, whoever they may be, you might actually want to go thank them after this talk. To sum it all up, acknowledge your journey so far, everything that brought you here, and embrace it. Revel in the person you've become. Cherish it, relish it, and be grateful for the opportunities you have ahead of you. May that little voice inside you tell you where you need to go and create the future that you want. As I speak about myself, know that I'm speaking about you all too. I'm Ananya, and you know what? So are you. So celebrate that unique you. So here's to stepping on the right tiles and claiming our treasures. I know that I am the author of my own life. How about you? Thank you.